and welcome back to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm your host, Brittany McChrystal, and this is your safe space for all things wellness, self-love, and sustainable weight loss. So I'm finally back in Thailand, and honestly, I've actually been feeling this deep, grounded kind of gratitude lately, and it really hit me the other day. Like, what? I actually get to live here. This beautiful, chaotic, tropical little corner of the world. And after everything that's been going on lately, the travel, the stress, and the lack of routine, being back feels like a reset that I didn't even know I needed. We were meant to be back almost 2 weeks ago, but on our way to Thailand, Josh got turned around at the Bangkok border and they literally denied his entry, which was a total nightmare. And I was waiting at the luggage area for like 20 minutes thinking he was just having issues with his entry card. And then something felt off and I couldn't contact him because the Thai customs wouldn't let him use his phone. And I started panicking like in the airport and nobody knew where he was and I couldn't contact him. And it had been like over an hour. And then eventually he called me and we had to book an emergency flight to Bali, apply for a new visa, and then just wait it out there until we could get everything sorted. So it was really stressful, but we are back now and I'm slowly getting back into the rhythm of things and easing just into our days, finding our flow again. But I'm going to be real with you. I've actually gained a bit of weight recently. And maybe a few years ago, this would have sent me into a spiral and I would have panicked, restricted, and pushed my body to fix it. But this time it's different. I'm okay because I know that this is just a season and I haven't failed and my body hasn't let me down. Life has just happened and that's totally okay and normal. And that's exactly why I wanted to do today's episode because real self-love means loving yourself through every season, not just the ones where you feel glowy and motivated and everything's going to plan. It means not attaching your worth to the scale or how flat your stomach looks in the mirror or how many workouts you've ticked off this week. It is so much deeper than that. So today we're diving into what authentic self-love actually looks like, especially when things feel messy and when you feel off track or when your reflection doesn't match your expectations. This is going to be one of those soft, real, let's chat about it episodes. So if you're going through it too, you're not alone. And before we jump in, it would honestly mean so much to me if you could rate and review the show. It helps more women find this podcast and it reminds me that these conversations matter. So thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it more than you know. Alrighty, let's dive into it. We throw the word self-love around a lot, but most of us don't actually know what it looks like in real life. We confuse it with confidence, with perfection, with being that girl who's always glowing, never bloated, and somehow always drinking water out of a glass cup with a bamboo lid. But real self-love, it's messier, softer, sometimes a little quiet, and that doesn't always feel good in the moment. And I think about a big part of the confusion around self-love comes from social media. Like if you scroll for 5 minutes, it's easy to start feeling like you're doing it wrong. Like you must not really love yourself if you don't wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for 20 minutes, dry brush, drink a green juice, journal with crystals, and then prep organic meals with chia seeds, flax seeds, and your inner child healed on the side. But self-love doesn't have to look aesthetic to be real. And it's not measured by how perfect your morning routine is, or whether your skincare shelf is color-coded. You don't need to eat 100% clean, shop at the farmer's market every Sunday, or have a Pinterest-worthy pantry to be someone who deeply respects and cares for herself. Real self-love might look like sleeping in when your body needs rest, or choosing a comforting meal because you're going through it emotionally, and not beating yourself up over it. It might look like going for a walk instead of a workout because your nervous system is fried, or saying no to something you just don't have the energy for, even if it disappoints someone else. Self-love is in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you forgive yourself, in the small unseen choices to make you treat yourself like someone who deserves care, even when no one's watching. And I want to be honest about something else. You don't need to do everything right to be someone who loves herself. You don't need to always feel good or positive or empowered. Sometimes self-love is just not quitting, even when it feels hard, even when that voice in your head is loud and mean. But that voice, it's not the truth, it's the conditioning. The years of criticism, comparison, and the messaging that's told you that you weren't good enough unless you looked a certain way or acted a certain way. And we're so done with that. You don't need to earn love, especially not from yourself. Let me take you back to a time where I thought I should love myself, but I didn't. I had just lost a lot of weight, and I was physically the smallest I had ever been. And on paper, I had achieved what so many of us are told will bring us happiness. But I remember standing in front of the mirror, pulling at my skin, zooming in on my stomach in photos, and feeling this weird disconnect. I thought, why don't I feel confident yet? I had the body, but I still had the old mindset. That was the moment I realized confidence doesn't magically arrive when the scale drops. And self-love isn't something you earn after you look a certain way. It's built in the process. It's built when you decide to be kind to yourself now, not just when you reach your goal. It's all too easy to think you just need to change, not just the things you do, but who you are. It's one thing to invite transformation for the sake of growth, improvement, and new possibilities. But it's another thing to feel so dissatisfied with yourself that no amount of change could possibly convince you that you're worthy and lovable. This type of self-loathing formed when I was a child and some of my 20s. It was like I was constantly trying to gut myself so I could replace myself with someone better. I hadn't learnt to love myself. On most days, I kept a running mental tally of all the ways that I messed up, all the dumb things I said, the stupid ideas I suggested, and the unsuccessful attempts I made to make people like me. How could they when I wasn't willing to lead the way? I tell you this not as an after picture who can't remember the girl from before, but as someone who has lived this past decade taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. People are most comfortable to share their struggles once they feel like they're on the other side. It's a lot less scary to say, this is who I used to be, than this is what I struggle with sometimes. But this is my truth, and I give it to you, wholeheartedly and uncensored. On a primal level, I really want to be loved and accepted, but I learn a little more every day that my own self-respect is the foundation of lasting joy. I know that I am not so different from most people. Who doesn't want to feel like people understand them, get them, and at the end of it all, love them anyway? I think we all want to believe that it's perfectly okay, or maybe even wonderful, to be exactly who we are. And of course, that has to start with us. People can only love us if we believe that we're lovable. And you may not fully believe it if you constantly compensate for who you are with apologies, hedging words, or clarifications for your actions, like you always owe other people explanations. Or if you beat yourself up when you make the slightest mistakes. We think about your flaws and feel overwhelmed, disgust, or anger. Cling to people who see the best in you and find it hard to maintain those positive feelings when they walk away. Tell yourself that you're being selfish whenever you consider meeting your own needs. Repeatedly do self-destructive things or make choices that show you don't respect or value yourself. If you don't consider your needs a priority, and you always find a reason to talk yourself out of your dreams as if perhaps you don't deserve to have them. I have done every last one of these things at some point. And I suspect we all have. Sometimes it's challenging to love ourselves, particularly in a world where change generates a substantial amount of revenue. There are always going to be products and ideas for us to get better, and it's a beautiful thing to embrace a lifelong growth. Life is transformation, and staying static is a kind of death. But it's important that we all realize that we are beautiful and wonderful just the way we are, light and dark, in our complete authentic selves. So here are some ways to start accepting yourself and finding real authentic self-love. And this won't be an instant thing. It takes time, patience, and practice. But I promise if you do this every day, things will start to shift. Number 1, know that you are not your worst mistakes. Our past actions shape today, but we are not what we've been. You don't need to carry around labels or mistakes from yesterday as if they define us. Whatever you've done, it's over. It doesn't have to brand you, particularly not if you're making the conscious choice to do things differently now. We can judge ourselves by the weakest moments or the strongest. That is our choice. Choose to focus on the strongest and then leverage that pride for more of those moments. Every time you feel good about what you do, it's one more reminder to love who you are. 2. Know that you have nothing to prove. I don't care how esteemed or successful someone is. There are things they're proud of and the things they're ashamed of, and inside, they wish people would see more of the former and less of the latter. We all want validation. It's in our human need to feel connected to other people, and often sometimes we feel alone. It's because we believe we haven't proven how good we are or how good we can be. You don't need to show the world you're good, and you don't have to try and hide the things you've done that might not seem flattering. You just need to forgive and accept yourself and trust that other people will as well. Being authentic means being vulnerable, letting people see you in all different sides, trusting they won't judge you, and knowing that if they do, that's completely on them. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be real with people and know the ones who accept me fully than pretend to have to maintain the illusion that I am something I'm not. Number 3, know the dark is valuable. So you've made the mistake. Who hasn't? The beauty of having faults is that you can help the world with your experiences. Because we err on the hurt and we can empathize when other people are hurting. We can reach out of ourselves and forgive our own pains and hold other people up when they need it. Having strengths and weaknesses is just human. And if I didn't have less flattering traits and stories, this podcast wouldn't exist. When you realize your flaws can help the world and bring us closer together, suddenly they seem less like liabilities and more like assets. 4. Know that you matter. When I was a child, an authority figure in my life told me that if I was your age, I wouldn't be your friend. And I held onto this for years. That given the choice, most people wouldn't like me. And as I got older, I struggled to make friends. In college, I would sit in the library at lunchtime and try and hide away because I had no friends. And I didn't feel like I was worthy. I couldn't believe I mattered until someone said it to me. Well, now I know differently. I know that I do matter, and I know how my life matters is dependent on what I do from day to day. Know that you touch countless people's lives every single day, even if someone isn't posting about it. You do kind things that have a ripple effect you can't possibly measure. Even if not everyone has recognized it, you make a positive difference in the world. Your positive self-regard may feel stronger at some times than others, but even the small seed of love is valuable because it can grow. 5. Know that positive feelings and actions breed more. All these warm, fuzzy feelings mean very little if you sit alone, wishing you could experience the world differently. Once we accept that we're worthy of love and our dreams, the natural step is to actually create those things, not what we think we should do, what we really want to do. Get out into the world. Do that thing that scares you and excites you. Recognize you're awesome for doing it, even if it's just one small step. Give yourself permission not to be perfect and instead focus on progress. Love in action every day. Do something kind for you. Do something kind for others. Do something kind for the world. Acknowledge your weaknesses and work to improve them, but say loud and proud that they will not define you. If you start worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, remember you deserve to enjoy the present, but only you can make that happen. And I haven't always done this. I've had a lot of moments slip away while I curled up in my head, wishing I was someone better. But those moments have passed, and in this moment, I am happy with me. I may not know you, but I know I want the love for you too. I know you deserve it. This has been a little uncomfortable for me, to be honest. I've yet again spilt myself open, but this time I'm trying to change what's inside. I'm just here telling you that I am flawed, like we all are, and that it's not only okay, but beautiful. I wanted to take all of this theory into practice. Here are a few gentle but powerful things you can start doing today to deepen your self-love and acceptance. Start noticing your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the voice in your head. Is it kind? Is it cruel? Would you speak to your best friend like that? Just noticing it is the first step. You don't need to change every thought. Just start catching them when they come. Celebrate one small thing you did well today. And it doesn't have to be big. Maybe you drank water, took a walk, got out of bed even when it was hard. Celebrating these things reminds your brain that you're someone worth rooting for. Set one boundary that supports your peace. Say no to something that drains you. Log off when you've had enough. Or ask for space or help if you need it. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're self-respect in action. Do one loving thing for your body. Not to change it, but to thank it. Stretch. Take a slow walk. Moisturize your skin. Breathe deeply. Fuel yourself with a meal that makes you feel good. Make it about care, not control. Replace I hate with I'm learning to. Every time you want to criticize yourself, try softening the language. I hate how I look becomes I'm learning to feel more at home in my body. Language matters. It shapes your experience. And give yourself permission to not have it all together. You don't need to be perfect to be progressing. Let yourself show up exactly as you are. Messy, healing, human. And trust that it's enough, because it is. Loving yourself isn't always going to feel good. And it's not always a vibe. Some days it's just choosing not to spiral. Choosing to eat when you'd rather restrict. Choosing to speak up when you'd rather shrink. And choosing to show up for yourself even when it feels pointless. That's the kind of self-love that no one claps for, but it's the kind of thing that changes everything. You don't need to fake confidence or pretend you're okay, and you don't need a 10-step morning routine or a perfectly clean diet to prove you're doing the work. You just need to stay consistent with yourself and keep noticing your patterns, keep checking in, and keep choosing the version of you who's trying. And I know that it's not always glamorous. It's not always pretty, but it's real. And real will always win in the end. So take a breath, get quiet, and ask yourself what you need. Not to impress anyone, and not to fix yourself, just to feel a little more like you again. That's your next step. And if today all you do is stop being so hard on yourself, that's enough. So if this episode hit something in you, if you felt seen or understood, or even just a little less alone, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too. Send it to a friend, or post it to your stories, or just DM me and let me know what landed. And if you're ready to take this a step deeper, if you want support with your health, your mindset, your habits, and your relationship with your body, I would love to coach you. You can head to my website or just message me coaching and I will send you the details, no pressure. Remember, self-love is a practice, not a destination. So keep showing up, even on the messy days. You've got this, and I'm so glad that you're here. I will talk to you in the next episode.